With the New Orleans Pelicans overachieving in the postseason and the prominent addition of CJ McCollum, along with the sneaky and solid arrival of the rookie sensation Jose Alvarado, you would think the Pelicans fans would be filled with euphoria heading into the next season. And they probably are exceedingly ecstatic about each specific aspect that I just stated. However, neither one of those things compare to what's really in store for the next season. Yes, I'm talking about the return of Zion. Zion hopes to come back immensely better and looks to be taking the necessary steps to get himself in shape. And candidly, that's going to be a problem for the rest of the league. In a recent interview, Zion's personal chef, Christian Green, basically implied that Zion could potentially win the MVP next season. Bold prediction. However, I don't think it's a bad one. Zion's talent displays the potential is there. And I agree, he's a future MVP candidate. Now, will he be that next season? Who knows? But if it was to happen, I wouldn't be surprised. The first and most glaring facet for Zion to win the MVP, in my opinion, is to stay on the court for a full season. The most he's ever played in a season is 61 games. And that clearly won't be enough to be in the MVP discussion. If you take a look at the top 5 MVP voting last season, which included Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Devin Booker, and Luka Doncic, they all played at least 65 games, with the winner, Jokic, playing 74 games. Clearly, the days of the top guys playing 82 games are over, but you still have to be out there for most of them to have a chance at the MVP. The cutoff for consideration seems to be around 65 games, as guys like Ja Morant and Steph Curry were front runners until injuries kept them out of too many games. Zion looks in shape right now, but none of that really matters until we see him on the court for 65 plus games next season, which in my opinion, the only way he has a chance to be considered for MVP. Now Zion clearly won't go into next season as one of the front runners for MVP, which means he clearly has to do more than the top guys to work his way into that discussion. Now how will Zion do so? By leading the lead in scoring. All the top 5 MVP candidates from last season finished in the top 10 in scoring. Joel ended up leading the NBA in scoring at just 30 points per game, which I think is actually realistic for Zion if he can stay healthy. Zion averaged 27 points per game in only his second season, so it's not a reach to think that he could bump his scoring average up with a better team around him and more offensive weapons in his arsenal. Now the only issue I feel Zion will run into while trying to obtain such a feat is the Pelicans now have CJ McCollum, and Brandon Ingram has seen to take over the scoring role for the New Orleans Pelicans. Willie Green employs more of a team concept, so he may ask Zion to defer more, spread the ball around, and make the offense really difficult to stop. If that leads to Zion averaging more assists and fewer points, that would be good for Zion as well. But he still has to finish near the top of the league in scoring to have a chance at the MVP, in my opinion. With that being said, it's going to take more than individual success to get Zion MVP votes. All of the MVP candidates were on good teams that made the playoffs last season without having to go through the play-in tournament. If the Pelicans are hovering around the same place they were last season, then it probably won't matter what Zion does. The only reason Jokic obtained the MVP as a 6th seed is that he carried them there himself with a bad team that had all of its other top guys injured. Now, we hope that won't be the case for the New Orleans Pelicans, so for Zion to get any consideration, he has to take them to that next level, which means finishing somewhere in the top 4 and being considered a legitimate contender to win the West. If the Pelicans make a big leap as a team, Zion will be seen as one of the primary reasons in the eyes of the voters. The Pelicans will also be getting a lot more attention in the national media. Even if the Pelicans were to make the playoffs next season as an 8th or 9th seed, it probably won't be enough even if Zion stays healthy all year and is near the top of the league in scoring. It would take a combination of good health, individual dominance, and team success for Zion to emerge as an MVP candidate. Does that seem like a long shot for Zion? Yes, sort of. However, is it impossible? No. But what do you think? Do you think Zion could be an MVP candidate next season? Or do you think that's too far-fetched? Let me know down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next video.